Former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai has confirmed a meeting by the coalition was held in Abuja on Tuesday. El-Rufai said President Bola Tinubu would be sent back to Lagos State, while his minister, Bosun Tijani, who according to him is doing a great job, will be retained in the next administration. ATN had reported that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, ex-Labour Party's presidential candidate Peter Obi, and El-Rufai have adopted the African Democratic Congress as the official platform of the opposition coalition. The trio are said to have agreed to adopt the party after a meeting on Tuesday night. They have adopted the African Democratic Party as the coalition party, all of them. Atiku, Obi, El-Rufai are working together. They came to the conclusion last night up to the early hours of this morning, the insider said. Addressing a gathering at Arewa Tech Fest in Katsina on Wednesday, El-Rufai said, yesterday at 8 p.m., there was a very important meeting of the coalition we are putting together to ensure that President Tinubu goes back to Lagos. Chizi, meanwhile, Salihu Lukman, you know Salihu Lukman?
Yeah, the former vice president.
Yes, has been made the head of the ADC secretary, the coalition secretariat. So now, prior to this time, ADC had come out to say that they are going to galvanize 30 million votes to oust President Tinubu from position. What do you make of this Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar collaboration, and what do you make of this coalition, selecting ADC as their party? Do you see them making any inroads in 2027?
Well, let me start by commending them a little bit. Last time I said that Obi as a person cannot win an election. Neither can Atiku now win if they have to, because if you look at the statistics of the last election, in 2023, the opposition, coming together in a community had almost 60% of the vote. 60%. Tinubu won with about 37% of the vote. So if you look at that, you know that the opposition actually won, but not the Labour, not PDP, not the Congress.
Their votes put together. That's what you're saying.
Yes. That means that there were leakages, that the vote had to be split around these other persons. No wonder Obi had 12 states, Tinubu had 12 states, Atiku had 12 states. Do you understand that? Amongst all of that. And so you see that should they have come together, that is just one part of the debate. If they have come together, maybe they may have made like 50%, of course, because there are persons that if you come together will not vote for the candidate you're talking about. But the problem, so if they continue to do that, like I said, that they will still head up giving Tinubu the next presidency. Now that they are coming together, the question that another issue that will arise will be who will drop his or her ambition. That's the first thing.
Do you see Atiku doing that? You recall that the balkanization of PDP, there have been allegations and counter allegations that the balkanization of PDP was because of Atiku's presidential ambition, even though there was a gentleman's agreement across political parties that it was the turn of the South. But Atiku, who was from the North, was insisting that it was his turn to be president.
That is the same thing I'm saying here. What about Obi?
Will Obi want to be the vice president? Because Atiku will not want to be the vice president.
No, Atiku will not even if he wants to be. He does not have any constitutional right to become vice president again, because he's been vice president for 8 years.
Now, considering that, there are calls that the North, the South, should still be returned, as a president must come from the South.
That is what
Do you see Atiku Abubakar being the person to represent this coalition as a presidential candidate? Do you see it flying?
Now, let me say, maybe if you had allowed me, I would
have
come to that extent. If the best of a Northerner, if you bring the best of a Northerner to run as the presidential flag bearer of this whole coalition, and all other opposition comes together to support him, he may not win. And the reason is simple. And the same way, if you bring the best of the Southerner, they may not win. The reason is simple. When you bring the Northern, we are more ethnic than we agree. We are more ethnically minded, sentimental than we agree. You will find that the South will say, no, we have not finished our own period. Then If you bring a Southerner, the North will suspect that Southerner, no matter how saintly he may look like, may want to do a second term. That will be 12 years. So they will not accept. So the only person right now, I don't want to converse with anybody, if the coalition will come together to say, okay, let us kill our ambition, let us go and take somebody like Jonathan, who do not have the constitutional right to do for the second term, to come and run. That means that it will, the South, their South aspiration of being there for 8 years will be fulfilled, and the North patience of being there for just for 4 years to take over power will still be fulfilled in that person. And that's the only strong thing that will happen. If not, the other one will be academic.
But then Patience Jonathan has come out to say,
forget it.
I understand, but she has come out to say that, that the husband does not intend to run for another term, and that they were going to work for Tinubu come 2027.
Yes, you know, the family of Obasanjo addressed the word.
But Obasanjo came out to say that to disregard what the family has said.
The family has said, please don't push our man. We are not we are interested in him just coming out. You know, when people see, that is the spice of it, you know, especially in Nigeria, it looks like politics is all about lie. Even President Jonathan knows that President wants Jonathan to be president.
But then don't you think that Nigerians have transited the era of Goodluck Jonathan? Don't you think that Nigerians are past that? Like the challenges Nigerians are facing right now, you know, is far much more complex than what existed when Goodluck Jonathan was president in Nigeria. And then one would say there were also concerns around how, you know, there were issues with his presidency.
I agree.
From corruption,
yes,
down to insecurity.
Yes, I see we have better.
Well, one would not say we have it better, but then why not try different persons?
No, I am not saying that trying different persons is not good.
You're saying that returning Goodluck Jonathan secures the fact that Goodluck Jonathan cannot go beyond one term because he has already served one. So it will, to a large, it's like an insurance for the North, knowing that he cannot run a second term. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
But I'm also looking at the eligibility of Jonathan running against Tinubu in 2027.
That's what I'm saying, that Jonathan running against Tinubu, for instance, the first thing I wanted to situate here is that which will make the election balance, that which will make the election more fierce. But I said that if you bring a Southerner here and is contesting against Tinubu, that the North will not agree. Because of the sentiments that we can have.
The Southerner might run for second term.
And I can bet you that person will run for second term. Now, if you bring a Northerner, the Southerner will also not agree. Because of the same.
So now
for
the coalition now is facing a conundrum. How are they going to come out of it? Because I don't see Atiku Abubakar backing down from his presidential ambition.
That will be the start of the failure of the coalition.
Okay. And then, the final question, adopting ADC. Does ADC have that widespread, is it widespread like PDP and APC? Recall that even though Peter Obi did well in the past presidential elections in 2023, one of the major challenges Peter Obi had was the fact that he didn't have structures down to the rural areas. So during elections, people came out to vote for Labour Party, but there was no party agent.
Yes, you see, when you have a coalition of these personalities, they are not just the people. Of course, these are the people who made the talk. When you have a coalition of these people and they are choosing a party, you know what they did? They chose a party that may be less controversial, like the ADC. A party that may seem neutral. So they all can come and feed their own structures in their regions and periods. That's what they did. And so this is going to present a more structured political party than the Labour Party did. Because the Labour Party also, they were there, even though they didn't have that much structure.
It was more like a one-man thing.
It was more like the Labour Union thing, you know, where they had it. So they already had it. They were already there to fill in those disgruntled, those who failed in their parties, all of that. But for ADC is quote-unquote just a registered political party that if it structures, you may find out that if they give Chizi or Masla the liver state by just feed by structures in there. That's exactly what is going to happen. Not that they are putting people who already know the structures. I do have the structures in Kaduna, and so do Obi now, so do Atiku, and so do, if some of us want to enter, you know, right now. But that would present it. But the question is, they should present us with a different agenda, not just because they want to be president.
Manifesto.
A manifesto
and a working template.
Let us see a workable template. Let us see how the education could take off from where it is to where it's going to be, where the health will be. Let them give us that, because you see, I don't blame the APC. We didn't have that template. They just said change. We didn't know whether we were going to change from the better to worse, or we're going to change from worse. I'm a member of the APC. So I told them we didn't have that ideological position. They don't come up with that ideological position, because I trust El-Rufai, I trust Atiku, and I trust for these three. I trust that they have something upstairs to provide, but they have to marry all of that and kill the ambition first, and maybe bring out Chizi or Masla as their presidential candidate.
All right, very well. Thank you so much.